Hi, this is Barry Schwartz. This is the Search Buzz video recap. This is what we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com. So I'm going to cover the most important topics that I feel that I covered over at the SEOroundtable.com. So let's get started right away. We're going to start with the Google SEO related topics. Over the weekend, last weekend, there was several reports at Webmaster World. The reports are continuing to go on as we speak right now. That caffeine is in the main index. Google caffeine, we reported several times that people have been spotting Google's caffeine index coming up and popping up over here and there, and people have been reporting it more and more recently. The question is when. We don't know exactly when it's going to be official, but it seems like more and more people are noticing what they define as caffeine. We pointed out the different IP addresses. If you want to take a look at that, it's January 25th at SEOroundtable.com is our post on that. We still have no confirmation from Google as to when and if caffeine will be going live anytime soon. Also on the Google SEO topic is, we talked about this in the past, but basically, if you want Google to remove a page from their index, all you do is put up a 404 status code in the HTTP headers. When you do that, Google will know that the page is not found, and Google will remove it from the index. But Google will come back and check to see if it actually has returned. To remove it almost permanently, Google says use a 410 status code, and that's much stronger than using a 404, and that will help Google figure out that it's actually gone. Let's move on to the Google features section of the broadcast. The first thing that was announced on Friday, late Friday by Google, was Google's now doing something called the answer highlighting. So now if you search in Google for example, the height of the Empire State Building, Empire State Building height, Google will not just show you a snippet, but in the snippet they'll actually highlight certain information. So if you take a look, what I'm showing you over here now is this is the way it currently looks, where it just shows you information about the just shows you the normal snippet. But this is the way Google's using Google Square data in order to actually show the actual height in the actual snippet, where it says 1250 feet or 381 meters. Google also announced that they're actually doing more rich snippets, and part of that rich snippet is the ability to add event data in your actual rich snippet or DFA markups. That's on the feature side. Also, Google has officially launched their social search. Basically, that gives you a way to click on the options box. So let me show you. You're going to go to google.com. I'm going to search for Danny. I'm going to click on show options. I'm going to click on social. And you're going to see now results for people in my social circle for Danny. And obviously Danny Sullivan's personal blog, the Search Engine Land, Daily Searchcast. Here's Michael Gray. These are people who are all connected with me. Here's all my people who are connected with me. I can see my social circle by clicking on this little link over here. And it shows me the various people involved in my social circle. I can then go ahead and click on show paths and see how am I connected to John Willer over at Google. It shows me I'm connected via Twitter, I'm connected via FriendFeed, I'm connected via Flickr, Delicious, and YouTube. Also, I can see my social content, my personal blog, Wikipedia, Twitter pages, and stuff like that. This is how Google figures out who I am, who I'm connected with. So that's what Google launched in terms of their social search. And that's been an experimental labs project for a while, and now it's finally out there in the wild. People will only see their search results people aren't really noticing that anything's really changing in the main search results. But if you want to go ahead and fine-tune your social results by looking at your social network, you can click on that social link in the show options area. Let's move over to Google AdSense. We have 3 topics to cover. The first is earlier this week, Kaspersky, which is basically an internet security product, was blocking AdSense ads again. This is the second time it happened the past few months, and they fixed that a day later or so, and it's now not a problem. But Kaspersky is basically thinking that AdSense was some type of malware, and it was blocking it. So a lot of AdSense publishers are upset that they were losing money, etc., etc. Also on AdSense news, Google released their earnings, which we talked about last time, and they keep making more and more money. But I think they released it last week. Let me just double check. Yeah, they released it last week, so we discussed that. But also, we learned that Google's paying publishers less and less, at least on a percentage basis. So we saw, according to this chart, on Q1 2009, the first quarter of 2009, they paid publishers, they earned $1.64 billion. and they paid publishers $1.23 billion, which basically meant that Google paid about 75% of their earnings on the AdSense ads to the publishers. Now skip down to Q4, last quarter, you'll see that Google earned more. Fine, they earned $2.04 million, and they paid publishers $1.47 million, which was more than what they paid in dollar amounts, but as a percentage, they paid 72.06%, which is about 3% less than they paid as a share. So you can see the chart going downwards as a downwards trend towards how much they're paying publishers, at least in the past year or so. So some publishers are upset by that. There is a trend going on. There's a webmaster thread talking about what publishers, AdSense publishers, are complaining about, and there's three main things. A number of publishers are complaining about making less money, as we showed you in the previous chart. It's also showing up in their actual earnings. Also, some publishers are reporting general increase in their EPC. Also, a lot of people are saying that a lot of advertisers are being shut down by Google, and what that means is that there's less advertisers. Technically, it would be less AdSense publishers, less ads in the AdSense publisher network. So that's stuff that's going on. People are discussing it, how they correlate and stuff like that, and that's really in the publisher world. Comscore released some new data showing search as how growth over the course of the year or so, and search growth overall worldwide has grown 46%. There's 46% more searches over the course of from December 2008 to December 2009 than there was 89 probably billion or so after it's 89 versus 131 worldwide, so it's a 46% change in the number of searches being done worldwide. The United States only increased 22%. China was the least, and they only increased 13%. But if you look at Russia, 92%, France, 61%, so on. Let's break it down by actual search engine. Worldwide, again, is 46%, but in terms of Google site, they're up 58%. They're above the average, whereas Yahoo is only 13% increase overall, which is not great at all. But Microsoft, Bing, and other Microsoft products is up 70%. That's pretty good. That's very, very good. So that talks about the search growth overall. Obviously, Google's dominating, but it's nice to see big increase, whereas Yahoo seems to be increasing at a much slower rate. Let's talk about Google Maps. Google Maps added personalization this week, so now when you do a search in their Google search box at googlemaps.com or maps.google.com, Google will find locations based on your personalized search history. The problem is when you type in home, people had saved locations, and those saved locations are no longer showing up. So people are typing in, Steve's home, Mary's home, my home. That no longer comes up, and people are upset because it takes them longer to find directions back from wherever they are to their home. And that slows them down, whereas personalized search is supposed to speed things up. You can take a look at that. There's a post over at January 28th at SERoundtable.com. Also, pretty cool, I personally like, is that Google Reader finally added the ability to track pages, web pages, that do not have RSS feeds. So there are a lot of software programs out there that you can set to track and crawl certain pages that don't have RSS feeds and alert you for changes. Google Reader now has basically made the ability for you to subscribe to any web page. It would automatically create a Google-based feed based on no RSS at all. Basically, it crawls the pages, looks for changes. It doesn't give you a way to say, I want to check every hour or every 2 days or whatever it is. Google checks whatever they determine to check, and they'll get back to you via your Google Reader to show you changes to any web page you want. Obviously, this is great for tracking pricing changes on merchant sites. It's great for tracking competitors' websites, terms of service changes and guideline changes. And it's basically tracking anything. You can really track anything now with Google Reader, as long as the webmaster doesn't block Google from crawling the website using the no index tag, or blocking them with passwords, or using the no archive to say that Google can't cache it. Obviously, webmasters are not too happy about this because they'd rather not block Google, and they'd rather not have competitors track them, so they're wishing for a specific tag that just blocks Google Reader from doing this, but right now there's no such tag for that. Finally, let's move on to the Doodle topics. Kuwait is celebrating their, National Day on February 26th, but Google put their logo up for the National Day for Google Kuwait a month early on January 26th. Google removed it 5 hours later after finding out that it was a bit too late. You can see the logo right over here. It's a nice logo. I guess that's what they're going to be using in a month from now. Also, there was some dispute over the Google Australia Doodle for Google winner. This is the one that's submitted by Jesse in Australia. As you can see, it has the flag, the flag over there. The problem is, when Google posted it on their website, they had to remove the flag for copyright issues. So people were not so happy with that. Google basically said they had to remove it for copyright issues. They worked it out with Jessie, who won the contest, and she was okay with that. And that's pretty much what happened. But there was a lot of controversy over that. So that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz. This is the news we covered over at Search Engine Roundtable over the past week, SERoundtable.com. Today, again, is Friday, January 29th. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.